Today is September 19th. It is 3:30 in the afternoon. It is a Saturday, and this is the Board State. The Board State, if you are not familiar with, is a show where we deconstruct and analyze articles for gaming development and social good. My name is Jeffrey Vierra, aka Mr. V, and I'm joined with my buddy. Who are you, sir?
Choo! Jack.
Back at home.
Yep. I finally got out of the warp. It was a long journey. Uh, my navigator almost got consumed by the chaos demons, but he's okay now.
Cool. All right. And in this show, what we do is we cover 5 articles that stood out for us in the previous week in relation to game design, with the emphasis of indie and game design for social good. Our first article of the week is going to be, or is, DeepMind wants to teach robots to play board games, and that is by VentureBeat.com. Jack, what are your thoughts on this article?
I really think this is going to be the future of gaming, because as much as us game developers should really go back and take a step back by doing other tasks, such as doing other jobs, like how we see a huge spike up in recent times with game developers volunteering for other means, such as being healthcare responders and more. We also need to have other parts of the industry evolve and grow. And this is a great way of doing so by program artificial intelligences to do these simple games. We could really expand our horizons, because by going back to the basics, we unlock more than there were before. So I could only see benefits to this, and the article point out different. There's 3 main games that they mainly focus on, and it actually showcases 3 games that is mainly played around the world. So Sokoban, Tic-Tac-Toe, and Go. I don't really know that much about Sokoban, but Tic-Tac-Toe, of course, whoever has 3 in a row wins, and Go is basically whoever has the most, whether it's the white or the black, wins. And just like watching the artificial intelligence do these simple games is also very interesting, because it really allows like people to understand how much time it really takes for artificial intelligence to do like even like movement. Because for example, in Go, the arm that will paste down the pieces will actually lag out a bit, and so you will actually be like, oh, okay, so that's another thing. So it's a good way to start and improve upon.
Yeah. What are my thoughts on this? I ask myself. DeepMind, huh? Well, I have my opinions on DeepMind. There was a documentary called The Surrounding Game, where they had DeepMind play against all these Go champions, and basically just not just destroyed them, but also like started making art essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And so more to this article. So why does Google DeepMind, why do they want to teach robots board games? Is another way to look at this, and I think it's because board games are the perfect simulation of a subject or a thing or a process or a business, right? So what better way to challenge or to test an AI or some kind of deep heuristic machine learning program than to have it play a board game, right? So yeah, it's very, very, very cool. We'll see where this leads. Who knows? there's a lot of fear for artificial intelligence, and I think when well, AI is already here.
Yeah,
Not in the robotic form, like we don't have like robots walking around, but driving, GPS,
yeah.
Siri for some respects, they are already using AI.
It's just we need to make sure we always have that balance, because when we don't have that balance, then we have Skynet.
Okay. And at Toshiba, we actually, can I say this? No, no,
If
it's not.
we could be like,
I got almost said it. Whoa, hey, you're under arrest. No. So no, so I'm trying to. I gotta really be careful here. So we use AI to help in doc management systems to read text and to route and to recognize text and things like that. And so that I'm just saying that AI is already here. It's already a service that um, is not, it's not everywhere, but it's functioning and it's working already. So one of the things that Kevin Kelly says is, like, before electricity, right? Before electricity, no one could. Actually, it's really interesting. Is speaking of the subject, I'm rereading Kurzweil's Singularity, big book. But anyway, Kevin Kelly said before electricity, you could never imagine uh, jobs that would be available related to electricity, right? We wouldn't know that electricity makes a TV. Because of electricity, we have TVs, so that we have TV repairmen, or we have TV shows or whatever. So it's hard to us to imagine the large industry when AI really hits mainstream that's going to be available. We have no idea. We have no idea what it's going to be like, just like electricity. All we can think of is what jobs are going to be changed because of it, right? Like we already know, like help desk or whatever, like all these kind of automated things are going to be replaced by AI, but we don't know how much other jobs are going to be created because of this brilliant service.
And though change can be scary and change can bring loss, like for example, when the refrigerator hit, or when the car industry hit, it really changed how the landscape there, but also changed the job market. You don't see horses and carriage no more. You see cars and motorcycles now. But because of that, we're all living in a better place. So you just have to be open-minded. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I don't know. You're probably right. Okay. DeepMind wants to teach robots to play board games. VentureBeat.com. Will AI take over?
Who knows? Maybe I'm a robot and I'm still hope.
Right. Okay. Speaking of robots, Cyberpunk creator Mike Pondsmith reveals how to become a game designer by Kotaku. All right, and that's our next article. I'm just gonna put my headphones down and go make a snack. I'm gonna go make a sandwich and take a nap, and you can talk about this article for the next 30 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. Jack, what are your thoughts on this article?
Poland show! Poland show!
Okay.
But for reals, this is really showcasing that.
About Poland somewhere. Is there a word Poland? Let's do a word search.
Really?
No, I didn't find anything. Huh.
Okay, the video game developer is CD Projekt Red. CD Projekt Red is
Project.
The project.
Project Red.
Project Red is home to Poland, and Poland is shrunk. Okay, so and another thing is that this is really showcasing how could board gaming and video gaming could merge together as one big project, especially right now. So if you haven't heard of Mike Pondsmith, he is one of the creators of the RPG that made Cyberpunk. And so having just that, one of the devs from that, or I'm not sure if he's only it or there's more a part of the team, but it really showcased to me at the very least that if you're a game developer, you could transfer your skills over to any part of the industry and they will be successful at it. And but one of the big quotes that I really think everybody should read, no matter if you're going into the industry or if you're not, is when you do game design at the level I do it at, that is a large part of what you are doing. You're doing more than just manipulating rules. You're creating a world for other people to enjoy. And when they do, if they have a good time, if they come back, if they want to change and bring things that are personal, you've done your job right. But have to make that quantum leap from player to a GM to a designer, and a designer thinks in a much larger manner. That's honestly the best description I think for modern day game development, honestly. Because you're no longer thinking about just rules, you're thinking about how will players react to my game? Is it going to be fun? And if so, why is it fun? If it's sending a message, then will it still be fun? And if that's so, will the message will be understood? So that one quote has lots of depths, and you could debate it over on the comments all you want, but that's what I believe really will stand out for this year to be. That definition of game development. But yeah.
Okay. Ready?
Position!
All right, Mike Pondsmith, you are awesome. I'm gonna make a new shrine somewhere around here. So, what this article is really about is not just how to be a game designer. I mean, that's what the title is, but the difference between being a tabletop designer and a video game designer. He talks about how friendly tabletop designers are, in contrast video game designers. But he talks about like the different kind of skin in the game, like the different stakes that are in place when you're designing both a video game and tabletop games. So his whole thing is, video game designers, you need to learn some manners and game design approaches from tabletop guys. He's a tabletop guy that is, working on. Well, he's done some video game stuff too, I believe, like just writing. But yeah, this is the father of tabletop cyberpunk, man. I apologize, admitting this. I had no idea that he was working on the Cyberpunk video game. I had no idea. I just can't believe that. It is so awesome. That is awesome. Did I say awesome too much? Yes, I did. Still really cool. But yeah, so that's really what this article is about. This is one to bookmark again. Why games matter, and the difference between story time with Cyberpunk creator Mike Pondsmith. So cool. Why games matter, and the difference between tabletop and video game designers.
Well, and the similarities too. Okay, point and strong.
Okay, all right. Speaking of love, it's such ridiculous. Speaking of history, like Poland is just history. A love of history.
Yeah.
A love of history leads now to develop a new way of exploring. This is one of our. We like to always include like a feel-good story. This is our feel-good story of the week. So cool, Jack. Please, your thoughts on this article.
Honestly, this is what we want to see. Not just devs from board gaming and video gaming transitioning over from different fields, but also guys outside of development and being inspired by others and trying to make it into their own career. So he has graduate master's thesis in history, not in game development. But he was inspired by all of these recent works and all of the indie development that has been happening in both board gaming and video gaming, that he decided to make a full-on museum for his local schools in VR. So not only is interaction because they're using the VR headset, but they're also learning several things about history, about he wants to add art into the mix. And so all I'm seeing here is just a great template for what could potentially impact a lot more schools than his own local schools, because you could replicate the same museum idea and put it in Poland, for example, or Hawaii or Washington, and you could find actual history and roots from that area and put it in the museum. So it will be ever more updating and ever more not just appealing to its to the ball, but appealing to how much options it really has.
Okay, sorry, I was sharing that Mike Pondsmith. It's just by. Yeah. Okay, so a couple of things. You know, we like to talk about game designers making games, right? We like to talk about that journey. But generally, it's like a game designer or a mom that became a game designer, studied game design, and then made a game, mm-hmm. right? Here we have someone who is not a game designer, who is, I think, he's got his bachelor's in anthropology or history?
History. It was history.
I mean, he played games. But yeah, and so he has bachelor's degree in anthropology from Cleveland State University, and his master's work in emphasis on okay. Anyway, so COVID happened, crisis happens. A lot of people are suffering, going through distress. Of course, we talk about that time and time again. But what some people do is look at this moment of crisis and say, what can I do? Not just as an opportunity to make a buck, but how can I help with what I know? So mm-hmm. This guy made a virtual reality museum. He explains the program allows you to walk into a new type of immersive, right? So, but yeah, so he created a virtual reality system, figured it out, bootstrapped it, got it online, and did it. And that is fantastic. That is so cool. Hold on, we have a visitor here. That's not the bug for that.
Okay, guys. So this is, but for reals, this article really demonstrates that anyone could really go into game development, no matter how much knowledge you have, whether you're a beginner like he is or a seasoned veteran.
My wife needed to plug in my Nintendo Switch. It's really important. We have two switches. The plug is here. She came in and she needed to do that. Anyway, so yes, very cool. The point I was trying to make is that you don't need a degree in computer science or in game design to make a game or mm-hmm. to make some kind of an immersive interactive experience. You just figure it out the punk rock way. So there's a love of history leads now to develop a new way of exploring by cleveland.com. All right, next article.
Poland Chong.
A better country than Poland, I would argue, is New Zealand. The growing potential of New Zealand's gaming industry is by theislandnow.com. Jack, this was your find. What is this article about?
We talk about, Poland and how strong they could be, but we also want to, and also game developers and social change. But another key part about social change for good is that diversifying and expanding the industry as a whole. And so with different countries, and more importantly, lesser known countries like New Zealand, Syria, Ireland, all the countries are now realizing the market gaming has for their country. And we're gonna see a whole lot more growth and expression of cultures because of that. And it's unfortunate that it took COVID for them to realize that, but it really is going to be a shift of change where you're gonna see the world becoming more and more gamified. And this is one of the many articles you will see often. So it's not social change right now, but right in 5 years' time, it's going to produce social change, because the more growth the industry has, the more people is aware, the more people who wants to create and wants to basically push their content in this industry, especially now with a lot of the major social industries not really doing so well.
Bruh. Gaming is considered the fastest growing segment and industry in New Zealand. Around 60% of game development studios in New Zealand say that they are planning to grow by 10% over the next years. At the moment, there are almost 700 specialists that work on developing games, but with an annual 42% growth, the shortage of skills and developers becomes a problem. How much do you cost, you would think, to ship a bunch of games? It's such a beautiful place. Wow, friggin' awesome. Yeah, I cannot wait to see what comes out of New Zealand, man. They have such a, I mean, there are they are the, are they considered the older or younger brother from Hawaii?
Older.
The younger brother, right? You sure?
Wait, no,
Sure?
younger.
Right? Yeah.
I think Tahiti is the older brother.
Yeah. Okay. So like, but they have New Zealanders or Aotearoa. There's a sense of like, and this is not an insult, but there's like a certain kind of like naivete, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a lot, like in their form of like humor and film and things like that. That Taika brings, but not just him.
Yeah, they're very like straight, but in a way where you could like, okay, yeah.
And I think a lot of it is because they're just so warm and awesome, right? Over there. So to see that translate into games, I think is going to be really, really cool to see happening, man.
I will also say that don't be shocked if you see other countries like Brazil, like Chile, like Spain doing this pattern, because like now we have two good examples: Poland and New Zealand becoming more and more popular and distributing more and more game developers, and because of that, they're doing really successful.
Okay. So the growing potential of New Zealand's gaming industry by the island now. Whew. Nice. Okay. This is the next one's going to be gaming is for all. First one-handed Arab gamer and streamer attests, and this is by stepfeed.com, and the subtitle is Ahmed Mahar Bakir lost his left hand in an accident. Now he's the Arab region's first one-handed Free Fire gamer and streamer. Holy crap, that's unreal. Jack, what is this article about?
So it was basically about, let me make sure. Okay, if you're in the Middle East, I am sorry if I butcher this name, but Ahmed Mahal Baker. And so his story is really about accepting the challenge and also finding a way to use his motivation to become what he does for a living. So he had an accident, and because of there's Syria, there's the civil war, and because of that, he lost his hand, and he couldn't really find a job. So he decided to go on mobile and just find some motivation to pick him up. And he actually found out that he was pretty good at tournament at playing these like battle royale games. So then he decided, okay, might as well check out this challenge and this tournament. I'm not too sure if he lost or won that first tournament, but it hooked him. Like, and because of that, he trained and trained. And so towards the ending of this article, you'll find this quote. Winning was an extremely rare case back then, but I've been winning very often lately. As I enter the lobby, the first thing that comes to my mind is to eliminate as many enemies as possible. My priority is to kill, not the overall score. And as it turns out, winning comes with the mindset, the long mindset. So it really pushed him to not only change the site for a bit, but really understand gaming in that sense, to where he is one of the competitors for this battle royale game. And it's also another case of not just board gaming, not just video gaming can do good. Mobile gaming, though it has some problems, and one of them is microtransactions, they can produce stories like this as well.
Yeah. Let me just add one little thing to that, which is the quote on the bottom of this article, which is to all the gamers out there, whether people of determination or not, who might feel defeated by back-to-back losses, Ahmed has a few words to share. Just enjoy the gaming experience. Don't use hacks or cheat codes. Struggling to play is normal. You'll improve over time, and at the end of the day, it's just a game, not an actual war. To those that are disabled like myself or are currently in a tight spot, remember to never give up. Believe in yourself. You can definitely achieve your goals. Super awesome, man. This is, hell yeah. Right on. One hand.
Yep. Poland strong.
And he's from Poland? He's from Poland? That's a Polish name?
No.
Born in Aria village in the Syrian city of Poland? Whoa! Nice. I didn't know that. Huh. Crazy. Doesn't look Polish, but I mean, All right. So that is gaming is for all. First one-handed Arab gamer. Gamer attests. Okay. So a couple of things before we move on to our question of the day. Jack, can you mention a little bit about our ARG?
Yes, it's going to be on Facebook's groups /ARG 808, and it's the last week, and we pretty sure we have a winner, but we also are giving out gift cards that go to $50, and
a little more actually. Today's grab bag is going to be worth a lot more, but yeah, sorry, please.
You're going to be able to discover Hawaiian history, and also have a pretty fun time while you still can, and also discover all the mystery that we have. It's not like a traditional ARG, I give you that, but it is online and it is free, and it is going to be on Facebook's /groups /808 ARG. I mean ARG 808. I mean, Mr. Beast, this is it. I tried to do it. I tried.
Okay, thank you, Jack. And just like the Arab gamer says, eventually you will achieve your goal, despite the game being over. So it's facebook.com.
Facebook.com
/groups /808 ARG. All right, we got it. Okay.
Could you just edit your voice out and put my voice as like, saying that, and then boom.
You got it. Yes, definitely do that. Okay. So the question of the day, and Jack, where can they send their questions to?
At theboardstate@gmail.com.
Bam! All right. Send them there. Okay. Now, the question of the day is, what will gaming look like in a post-COVID world? Thanks, JKF, not JFK. That's not the name is JKF.
Your name
All right.
went cause a tangent for us.
I know, right? Okay, Jack.
Also, awesome, Nick. Awesome, Nick. I want to
Yeah.
exactly what that name is now, but awesome name. All quotations for your name. Second thing, I really think you're gonna see a lot more, like, not just games about culture, but games coming from pieces you wouldn't expect. There's a common joke called "Protein is strong," but that is one of the main reasons I honestly believe is that Protein really caused this whole beginning of what you're going to see is like more major devs coming from these smaller countries, and more of these major dev or gaming games will come from these smaller countries. It won't be Poland. Most likely will be all across the world, but I will consider one of the fuses that started in the video gaming. For ball gaming, we're gonna see more of a like merger between games, not just as video games and ball gaming, but as just like a whole idea of genres merging. I could showcase my culture and also showcase it as a puzzle. I could showcase this game concept as a fantasy, but instead of an RPG, it will be a tycoon. We already see a lot of games like that, and I really think we're going to see more games that it's going to be out of the box, but it's also going to attract more. It could be from game mechanics or from the thematics. The last thing I want to say is that most likely, though, I've all of these possibilities is that we're going to see a lot more social change. COVID-19 demonstrates how impactful one problem can be for all of us. No matter where you're from, or no matter what's your age or what you believe in. And because of that, you will see a lot of humility with game developers and players alike. And you will also see a lot more support between these two links. So yeah. I'm pulling strong.
Yeah. Hold on. How do I mute me?
Hey guys, my name is Mr. V, and I want to say that Poland is always strong, and Poland will always
sorry.
be friends. And
Was I muted?
yes, you were.
Great.
So I just was lip syncing, and how Poland is strong, and
We're gonna pulled off of. We're gonna be like Poland conspiracy. Anyway, so to add to that, there is going to be, and I am involved in the final beta stages. I can't even say this. Sorry. Nothing. My Portuguese-ness. I just talk and talk and talk. There's going to be. There's going to be a lot of virtual platforms. There's going to be a lot of virtual platforms for board gaming. I'll just say that post-COVID, and I'm going to be really happy to play tabletop stuff again in front of a whole bunch of people like I did 6 months ago. But yeah, I think in the design space, we're going to see a lot of, like you said, some new directions coming out of people that are developing in isolation right now. All right. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I'm frozen.
I wanted to ask, do you believe, like how I believe, you will see social good coming post COVID?
Oh yeah. Hell yeah. Okay, without getting too political, I think the one common thread on both sides, if we're just talking about both sides, is people are fed up, right? Like depending on what they're fed up about, but they're fed up about something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is the one thing that they can agree upon. And I think that for people that create games, that frustration is going to make itself into the game so that people can participate and try to solve these frustrations. But yeah, I definitely think we're going to start seeing a lot more social good stuff.
Well, JKF.
Yeah, I know, right? JKF. And that's going to do it for our show. Any closing comments that are not Poland related, Jack?
Okay.
All right. Okay, that's going to do it. Thank you for listening. Aloha.